Hey guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit more about GIGO. Last time I went through three first steps that we can take to try and help us in our mental state. And these are mainly things that we can do to just start off our day on the right foot. So sleeping well is one, and I would say that's probably the one of the big ones that needs to be encapsulated in all the others. And we need to sleep well. First of all, we need to eat well and exercising regularly. Those three things are pretty important, but foundationally, there is something else that is extremely important, and I would say that is basing yourself in the Word of God. Now, those three, and sort of adding the fourth thing right there, those things really should be kind of things that you just do without, hopefully, without thinking about them very much. And something else that I want to talk about as we think about GIGO, get that good mentality, not garbage, is what are we filling our bodies with? So that goes for community, words of affirmation, and of course our third one that I'm discussing right now, GIGO. They're all interconnected. You can't really have one without the other. And if you do, then things are going to start to suffer. So, GIGO and community, I want to pair those two for a second. What kind of community are you surrounding with yourself with? Are you putting into your life? Is it good community that's gonna build you up with like those words of affirmation? Are they good people to be around, make you want to be a better person? What kind of community are you surrounding yourself with? Who have you chosen to be a companion for you? Whether that's just a friendship or whether that is romantic, you need to keep these things in mind. They should be people that are pushing you to be someone better, to push you closer to God. And I also want to talk about GIGO in words of affirmation. Now, I talked about words of affirmation in two parts. I talked about words of affirmation from yourself and words of affirmation from others. And that is extremely important. Words of affirmation from others also ties with the community that you are surrounding yourself with, which is extremely important. Who are you around? Who have you chosen to be around in you? And so these are things you need to think about with the words of affirmation from your community, the people around you, your friends, whoever it is, your spouse, whatever. Also, words of affirmation come from you. And so GIGO, when it's more of a what am I choosing to put in my body, is something that is exceedingly important. And that goes to, I'm not so good at this, but that can go to areas such as the music. What kind of music are you listening to? What are you feeding your body with? Is it trash that you're listening to with a bunch of curse words, with a bunch of language that is definitely not God honoring? If it is, then you should pull the reins back and say, what am I doing? So music is extremely important. it's important to fill your life with things that are positive, with things that are good. And if what you listen to is negative and not good, that will that will begin to have a negative influence on your life. Secondly, I want to talk about what you watch. We just talked about what you heard. I wanna deal with what you're watching. This is a part that ties into what you watch, like as in what you watch in movies, when you watch like that, but it also ties into what you watch about yourself. So old pictures, old videos, something that I struggle with quite often, unfortunately. Old things, old places you go. It may not be necessarily things you see, but it may be those things that you experience, and maybe that is an area that you need to stay away from. It may not be that way for all people, but for those who are struggling with these certain things, maybe that is a consideration that you do need to have. You do need to pull back on the reins and say, no, I'm not going there. I'm not gonna see. Maybe it's a specific tree that reminds you of the great time you had, or reminds you of a certain person, and you're trying to get over that. Going out to that one particular spot is not the best thing for you. So what we put in our bodies is extremely, extremely important. And that can go for what we see, and that can go for what we hear. Those things, what we experience, those things, they make an impact on our lives. And what we see, what we hear, those things we experience, whether they're good or they're bad, they're gonna have an influence on us. So it is our job to make sure those things are good.